Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We are back here with another live. We are talking to Wiley from Ready to Love. Listen, it's gonna be
Oh, I
one of
can't
those.
hear you.
Oh, you can't hear
Hold
me.
on.
Oh, brothers lost me. I think you gotta jump out and jump back in, Cap.
All right.
Jump out and jump back in. I got you, bro. But we're talking to you guys about with Wiley. We're gonna be talking about his particular journey on the show, and talk about a little bit more about getting to know him a bit better as well. And I got some questions for Wiley because I need to know some things. Okay, and last time we had Tiffany on here, so there's some questions I need to ask him and find out. Boy, I'm looking smooth and I'm looking clear on the screen. Is it just me or is the blue working? Is it just me or is the blue working, baby? Unfortunately, also, guys, I won't be able to do Married at First Sight tonight. I haven't got the video, so I haven't got a video, and I'm gonna be away tomorrow. So unfortunately, there were no Married at First Sight live. But I'll be back in 2 weeks' time, and I'll be back doing a live for you. By then, I think Reunion will be on there as well. So yeah, we'll get that popping. But tonight's tonight's gonna be an interesting conversation, baby. What you saying, Wiley?
Hey, what's going on, sir?
That's my guy. That's my guy. I see you with a glass. What's that? Dolce Gabbana?
Nah, man.
You sure? That looking like a DG special, bro.
This ain't Dolce Gabbana.
Oh, what's it? Something even more expensive, isn't it? Mm?
Just something slight.
All right, nothing wrong with that, man. How you doing today? You good, yeah?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Fantastic. That's what I like to hear. Look, before we get anywhere into conversation, getting to know who you are, getting to know, your journey on Ready to Love, I want to make sure that you are a human and you're not one hologram or some hyper 3D image. You know what I'm saying? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, cool, man. We're gonna go for our human verification. My first question to you, Wiley.
Mm-hmm.
If there was one song that would encapsulate your entire life, what song would that be?
Encapsulate my entire life?
Yeah, baby.
Man, I could go with a few different ones on this one.
All right, give me one or two then.
All right. So one, I definitely gotta go with one of my dad's songs.
Okay.
I would say one of my favorite that he's done is his let me see. Well, first, yeah, my father's song "Bustin' Loose."
Okay.
Like,
hands down.
It gets you up, it gets you moving. Like, it's motivating. You can like apply it to almost anything. You know, like especially when it comes to just doing anything. Like, you can apply "Bustin' Loose" to whatever. And then a different song I would choose is probably Kanye West. Wait till I get my money right. Oh. Yeah, I like it.
All right, cool. Nothing wrong with that song. All right, cool. That was question number one. I like it. All right, question number two. Question number two. Wiley, you're on an island. Okay? You're on an island. And you get to play one movie on your iPad or your iPad, let's say, right? Because that's all your battery's got left. It's got one movie that you can play on there. What movie would it be?
I mean, I could go comedy or I could go.
You gotta choose one. You're on an island, bro.
I'm a movie buff, man. So you're making it hard on me because I know.
It's a lot. But you're on an island. What you gonna do?
I would say, let me see. If I'm on an island, then it would be Castaway because I need to get up off of that island. It'd probably be Castaway, and I have my own Wilson over there somewhere. Yeah, probably Castaway or something funny like All About the Benjamins.
All About the Benjamins, good film. Good film. Okay, cool. Question number 2, that was good. Question number 3.
Mhm.
Question number 3. Wiley, Android, iPhone.
iPhone all day, man. I was that person. Now listen, I was that person that was holding on to the Android just because it does all of these things that iPhone updates. You know, the person with the iPhone, they get, oh, my phone can do this now, and the Android person's like, my phone could already do that. But I just think, man, you don't want to get hit with the girl that hit you with, oh, you green. So, I think just functionality off of what, you know, not only what is exceptional, because, you know, a lot of people that's in IT, they have Androids. So I understand, you know, it's different things for different, you know, different strokes for different folks.
Okay.
But I like the iPhone now that I'm accustomed to it. So I'm an iPhone user now.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that. Well, listen, I think you've passed our, our test very well. We
Oh
think
yeah.
you're a human being.
I passed the
You
verification test.
passed the verification test. We had to make sure you're human out here. Do you know what I'm
All right.
saying?
All
Could
right.
have been a clone out here. You never know these days.
Oh man.
Yeah, me. So I get it. I get it. All right, cool, fantastic. Listen, we want to get to know you a bit better, Wiley. We want to know who you are and what you're about. So I like to ask this question, Wiley. Who are you, and what is your story?
All right. So who am I? I am a light being that is having this human experience, and you know, enjoying the moment while I'm here. So we all here to learn. We all here to, you know, have this experience, learn through, not only through others, but also through our own experiences.
Okay.
And this is, you know, something that's who I am. I'm a godlike being that's having this human experience. And my story, you know, my story is it's cool, man. You know, it's cool. I would say, you know, been blessed and, you know, and fortunate to have both parents in my life, to see that, you know, my parents were together for 30 years, man, before my dad passed away. And I got to see what love looked like in a, you know, I was blessed to have both parents in my home. So it was a good balance between, like, my father being his own boss and my mom being a, you know, hard worker, a long time, you know, delegating nurse. And then my dad got to the point where he's like, he came home, and my first time seeing anyone cry tears of joy was when my dad came home and talked to my mother and was like, look here, baby. Now, I understand, you know, you love your job and all that, but I just want to let you know that I got us. You know what I mean? I don't want you don't got to work no more if you don't want to. And she just started boohoo crying. I'm like I'm like 5 years old around the time, and I couldn't understand it. I'm like, Mommy, what you crying for? You all right? Like, what's going on? And she's like, boohoo crying, just crying. And she's like, I'm so happy. And I'm like, it threw me off, but that was a learning point in my life where I'm like, okay, like, you know, Dad got, you know, he holding it down. And you know, I got to see what then after that. So after my mom stopped being a nurse, both of my parents, they started working together. So my dad, you know, he has his publishing company and record company, and my mom would, you know, she was right there with him, like doing all the stuff that needed to be done, and even seeing them work together as a team. Where some of, like, probably like the last few albums that my dad put out, my mom, she wrote about half of that. So like she'll like write something for him, or, like, you know, write something down, and she'll be like, here, baby, check this out. Like, what do you think about this? And he'll be like, okay, all right, let's move this here and let's move that there. And I'm seeing them as a kid growing up, like seeing them work together as a team. And even when they had, you know, their, you know, differences or whatever the case may be, they always worked it out, always held each other accountable. And, you know what I mean? I got to see what I feel like real love should look like. So seeing that and then having my own experiences is like, you know what? Like, I feel like I'm getting to that, you know, I've gotten to that point where I want to build my own foundation. So like Me growing up, the youngest of four.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, youngest of four. My sister is the oldest. I got two brothers, and my sister, she's the she kind of like a. I look at her as like a Pop-Tart, cause she hard on the outside, but if you give her a hug, she might bust that one tear. You know what I mean? So we never really had to like protect her or none of that, because she was always good with handling herself.
Yeah.
And but even with that being there, like I've still grown to be like, oh, that's my little big brother. Like that's what she would say. She's like, oh, better watch out, because I got my little big brothers ready, like just in case anything, kind of like a warning to whatever guy she was talking to. But me and my brother that's a little bit older than me, we're really tight. We're able to talk about any and everything now. Like we hold each other down. He got the kids, I don't. so I'm super, Uncle Wiley. My nieces and nephews, they look at me as the adult, the cool adult that they know. You know what I mean? I'm the cool adult. I don't have any kids yet, but at the same time, they want, not only do I want that for myself, but they want it too, because now they like, Uncle Wiley, when you gonna get us an aunt?
Pressure.
Like, they get together with their cousins at like, Thanksgiving or whatever, and then living my life, and then next thing you know, they all, the girls is huddled up over in the corner somewhere, and they like, Uncle Wiley, you should meet our principal. We think you would like her. I'm like, oh, they trying to set me up.
They can see the potential, bro.
Yeah, they funny like that. But it's it's cool. And then just me in general, I grew up like, I was kind of like, I always walked to my own beat.
Okay.
Even though my brother, like both of my brothers, they're into pets. My brother, he runs his business. He breeds bullies and stuff, and he's been homeschooling his kids. So like being able to see my brother kind of take a similar role as my dad's, like, not working for nobody and, holding it down. And it's crazy because like his wife is a nurse. So it's crazy how that worked. But at the same time, like, then my other brother, he also is into pets heavy. But me, myself, like as a kid, the only thing I followed my brothers on was sports.
I hear that.
I was collecting rocks while they was,
with dogs.
Where they got dogs or fighting, raising fish and like breeding fish and then selling them. They always had that type of thing going on where I ain't want nothing to do with the pets. I was just like, whatever. Like I was just there. But at the same time, like I always walked in my own beat.
Okay. Oh man, that's cool to hear, man. So yourself, you were a bit more, you did your own kind of thing, You didn't follow the crowd in a sense.
When it came to sports, that's when we all really bonded together and learned from each other. And then even growing up, like been playing football my whole life, and then me and my brother, my light went out. Me and my brother, shoot.
That's all right, bro. Take your time.
My bad.
No, that's all right, bro. Don't worry about that. Technicals always happen, bro. Trust me.
Yeah. What in the world? Hold on, let me put it over here. All right. There you go. We back.
No, I love it.
I was saying, me and my brother, we played, since we were close in age, we played on the same team in high school for one.
Okay.
And then he went off to college. I went to prep school, Fork Union Military Academy, for 1 year, just to get more offers for football. And then I ended up getting some more offers and stuff, and then eventually going to Virginia Tech with my brother. So I mean, like,
what's the age gap between you two?
Yeah, so we got to play with each other on the same team twice, but The
Wow.
second time I was redshirted because I was a redshirt transfer. I started as a freshman at Duquesne, then transferred to Virginia Tech, and
Okay.
played ball there. It was real cool, great experience. Proud of all the stuff that I did with football, and then after that, just found I was trying to go pro, so I almost made it. I had Jaguars, Rams, Colts getting ready to bring me in for camp.
Oh.
Before it was like a year 2014 draft, so ended up getting hurt right before the draft. Freak incident, got attacked by a pit bull, bit a chunk out my ankle.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. so then, since it was too close to my Achilles, I wasn't able to play, so it stopped me from playing. So then after that, came home after dealing with just trying to get cleared, and it took about two years to like try to get back to even doing trials and stuff again.
Seriously?
Did like CFL workouts and all of that. I just wasn't the same. So after that, I found myself like kind of in a funk. You know what I mean? In a funk a little bit,
I can
trying to
understand.
figure out like, all right, every athlete deals with this, where it's like, who are you without the sport? Or who are you after
Yeah.
done? You've been doing this all your life, and it kind of becomes part of your identity. And then you have to like
Find
find
something else.
what's the next thing that gives you that same drive or that same adrenaline rush,
Yeah.
same motivation. Because being an athlete, all athletes can relate to just having a competitive nature with whatever
Yeah.
you're doing. But at the same time, it's like finding what's for you. So I had that moment, where it's like kind of like
Depressed.
postpartum, kind of like
Yeah.
not I wouldn't say depressed. I was just say like just trying to figure it out.
Okay.
And then I would say being around my father's band is what helped me find that new thing. You know what I mean? That new thing that give me the same drive, give me the same adrenaline rush. And at the same time, music has always been my first love.
Of
So
course.
before I knew what sports was, before I was following my brothers with sports, I was always right with my dad. So it's like, you know what I mean? It was cool. I will also say that, just being around my dad, I always felt like music would always be there, but I wanted to, just figure stuff out on my own. So
Yourself. Yeah.
ended up, doing the sports for a while. And now with my job and with everything that I'm doing in life, I found that balance that I needed where I'm doing music, what I mean? I'm full time with the Chuck Brown Band. I just released my brand new single for myself. And then on the other side, with my day job, I'm a vice principal and athletic director. So it's like I'm able to give back everything that I know from my experiences to the students, to the youth. And then on the other hand, on the other side of my Libra scale, I got the music. So I feel like I'm in a really good place right now. And also going towards other endeavors. So that's pretty much my story, man. Music, sports, intertwining, life experiences, and now we here.
Love that. Okay. Thank you for the comprehensive. I appreciate it, actually. Saves me having to ask questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, it saves me having to, hey, you do my job good. So for you then, you've gone through quite a journey. Like I said, you were almost at NFL drafts as well, and get injured and everything like that as well. That's a big turning point in your life. I know you had music there, but that's for us as men trying to find out our own path, that's a big thing. I mean, for you as a kid then, was your dream NFL when you were a kid?
Yeah, man, my father we used to go to the barbershop. My father used to brag on me knowing stuff. Like I was like a little walking ESPN. I'm talking about like 6 years old. I was coming home looking forward to watching ESPN, NFL films, NBA stuff. Like I was watching sports when my brother, even though he's a little older than me, he wanted to come home and hurry up and get the remote so he can watch Pokemon. I'm like, man, I don't want to watch that. Like, come on. put ESPN on. I'm trying to see who won the game last night. So I was big time Shaq fan. So 5 years old, this stands out to me, like me having my independency and like being proud of just me walking to my own beat.
Yeah.
It started with Shaq. And I say that because I was like 5 years old and I knew Shaq as to being, you know what I mean, like Shaq, from me watching NBA stuff with my dad, I seen Shaq breaking the backboards.
Of course, man. When he slammed that dunk, boy.
Breaking the backboards, shattering the backboards, you know what I mean? Just like, you know, crazy with it. So my brothers tried to tell me about Michael Jordan.
Okay.
They like, Michael Jordan the best, Michael Jordan this, Michael Jordan that. And my dad, he's seen like my brothers like trying to let me know, like, hey man, this the dude. So I'm like, yeah, he good and all. Okay, I see he's bald like Shaq, but do he break backboards like Shaq? And my father was like, hey man, why did walk to his own beat, man? Leave him alone. Leave him alone, man. He done made up his mind, all right? And that's who he like. That's who he like. Y'all can't change it. Just let him be. And when my father, you know, interjected and said that, I was like, yeah, I like Shaq. I don't care. So it was like, that kind of stuck with me moving on from that moment.
Sorry about that. My thing froze there for a sec.
Okay.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean, because I know sports is such a big thing, especially for us as men. So the fact that you had that from a very early age, and that was your dream to play in sports as well. Specifically, I'm guessing football, right? So that was your kind of
football was it. Once I started realizing I probably wasn't gonna get that much taller.
Had to give up the Shaq thing.
It's all football. And then I also looked at football as like, once I started playing with pads and stuff, because I started with flag, played quarterback, wore number 1. I was that dude. And then when I started the second year, I started getting hit and I ain't like it. Like, I didn't like having to depend on so many other people in order to get somewhere. Ooh. And that's just with offense. You know what I mean? Just offense in general. Me playing running back, I'm like, man, I got to trust all these dudes to do their job, so that way I won't get blasted and I could get through the line and do what I need to do. It was one game where we was playing this team, they're big time rivals, and they was just killing us. And from that moment, I'm like, man, they not blocking. Like, I was getting hot, but I started doing better on defense because of my frustration. So I was letting my frustration out easier on defense than offense. I'm like, man, I'd rather be doing the hitting than getting hit. So I turned into more of a defensive player or just more of an aggressive player. I was big with, laying the boom. You know what I mean? Like the type of player I am,
you hit with that.
Sean Taylor, Bob Sanders, you know what I mean? That Troy
Polamalu,
Troy Polamalu, all in one. Like, that's how I played. My, old coaches, they call me Taz, Coach Foster at Virginia Tech. Come on, Taz. Come on, let's do it. Let's do it. This Tasmanian devil right here. Y'all better watch out. So like that's just how I was as a player, and it went hand in hand with just how I am as a person. I'm very outgoing, so it worked for me. But I always felt like I could have been a great running back, but running backs come a dime a dozen. Defense, win championships. So that's why I lean towards the defensive side of the ball. Played strong safety, free safety, nickelback. But so I knew the whole secondary, even when I was, when I was made it to Virginia Tech. But my main position is strong safety.
Okay.
Yeah.
My brother loves the football. Never a problem with me. So okay, so talk to us a little bit about then, because I know you speak fondly about your father as well. What was the relationship like for you then with your mom then? What was that like growing up? What was the relationship with your mom?
Oh man, so me and my mom is really tight. Because she's the youngest in her family, out of her siblings too. So we both are the youngest. So it would be times where like, you know, with my siblings, they be like, "Oh, Ma, you always trying to protect them, or you always taking up for them." and really, like, once I started to realize, I'm like, "Nah, Mom, I'm good. I got it. Like, I got it. I'm good." Whenever it would come with something between me and my siblings, they were like, "Mom, don't be trying to take up for them." And y'all leave them alone. I'm like, "No, Mom, I'm good. Like, stop trying to protect me. I'm good now."
I can handle mines.
Yeah. But I guess she saw a lot of herself in me. So, you know, her wanting to like jump ahead on certain things. I'm like, once I started to realize like, oh, like I saw the connection there, then I'm like, all right, I'm good, Mom. Like I got it on my own. You know what I mean? Like whatever the case is, like I'm gonna deal with it. Whether I'm, you know, right or wrong or somewhere in between, I'm gonna deal with it. Like I got it now. Versus her wanting to protect me because she dealt with some of the same things with like, you know, older siblings picking on them or, you know, whatever the case may be that comes with being the youngest. So really
So
tight. Even to this day, I look after my mom. After my dad passed away, my mom had a breakdown. So me being in the school system, working with kids with multiple disabilities or what, and you know, just in general, it helped me deal with my, you know, with being at home and learning how to, you know, be more delicate with my mom, with her being a widow. So it's, you know, my dad passing away and just the transition of being with someone for 30 years and then,
having to not be with
you
them.
know what I mean? So it really, like, just my experiences helped me move along in life, not only with my personal life, but you know, with just everything in general. So even now, like I look after her. You know, I'll take her grocery shopping, kind of like Frank Lucas. You know what I mean? He does his Sundays with his mom. You know what I mean? But mine's is like I take her grocery shopping every other weekend or what have you. Just give her the whole day, kind of like make it similar to how my dad would be. Where like he's in the car, he's just chilling, taking her wherever, and he's practicing on his music, and she's taking however much time she needs, and there's no friction nowhere. And versus like right after my dad passed, my other siblings would try to take her place. They, you know, all right, Mom, come on, like, you know, just in general, like anybody. But she noticed that, like, oh, Wiley, though, you know, Wiley, just like your dad, he don't care. But I understood that it's just like just to help people move in life. Sometimes you gotta make it a comfortable space. So you know, I understood that, and then I'm like, you know what, like let me give her, you know, a day or two, do what she need to do. Mom, you got these days. Like, all right, what you need to do is it's all on you. And she, you know, it works. Now, like whenever my brothers or my siblings they bring the kids around, she snaps into grandma mode, and she's very like, you know, like back, almost like you see that spark. And so me and my mom, you know, really tight. Same with my dad. I was close with my dad too. So
So how have you managed to like you know, kind of, you know, 'cause that's not an easy thing to do, to take up the role where you are looking after, I wouldn't say look, you know, let's say look after your mum, but like you said, giving your mum a few days, whatever, in the week and every other week. How has that been for you though, in terms of, you know, taking up that role, you know, because it's never an easy role to have that responsibility. So how's that been for you, and how's it impacted you?
it's somewhat of an easy transition because I've always been tight with my mom. So it was cool. It's never been stressful or anything. I would just say that learning how to balance, you know, having work-life balance and also just learning how to maneuver with not only you know, making sure that my mom is good, but also making sure that my life is good. That's where, you know, I had to learn that, but now I'm at the point where I'm rolling, man. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So obviously, like I said, you we know you was into football. We know you was into your music as well,
Mhm.
following in your dad's footsteps as well. you know, and then, you know, you get into much older age where you're independent, and now you're coming into, you know, the ladies, you know, the opposite sex and thems, you know, and obviously, you know, I don't know, was it different for you in a sense of, because obviously your dad's quite well known already, you know, was that to say, did that open doors for you then in terms of the opposite sex earlier on? Because, you know, some of us have to work hard, brother. You had a famous dad, so you know what I mean.
So it's two different things that come with that. So like,
Yeah, sir.
my dad, you know, he always taught us like, hey, you know, your daddy famous, but we are humble. You know what I mean? We respect where we go, and we don't forget where we come from. You know what I mean? So with that, you know, I'm Chuck Brown's son, but at the same time, like, I'm Wiley Brown first. And that's what, even being on the show, that's something I wanted to make sure that if I could like make it a point, then I wanted it to be that way. Because if you like, if a woman or whoever, they know me from being with the band or whatever, then that's, you know, that has its lane. But if I'm just out and about, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I'm Chuck Brown's son.
Of
Like,
course.
you know what I mean? But I think growing up, that's how it kind of always been. Like, if they know, then they know. But if not, I'm not going to lead you to, you know what I mean? It's more of a game for me, and like having fun with letting them find out on their own. So, and it also gives me, you know, it lets me know, it's an indicator for me that this person likes me for me versus who I am. You know, versus what I am. They like me for
Yeah,
who I
yeah.
am. It's been cool. I would say, you know, going to shows and stuff, coming across different celebrities, like, you realize like they regular people just like me and you.
Yeah, trust me.
And that's something that, you know, I seen my dad, you know, he was pretty much like a people's champion. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of his fans, they got their own personal stories of when they had an encounter with him, or when they had some type of, you know, moment. Like, man, I remember I met your dad, man. We talked for like 15 minutes. Or another person like, man, I talked for an hour with your father, man. I remember we was backstage and he was telling me this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, wow, like each person almost got their own story. But that's him allowing the moment to be the moment. So like a lot of, you know, quote unquote celebrities, they move a certain way to where they're not as accessible to their fans. But with go-go music is very relationship between you and the crowd. So you know, it's heavy percussion. I'm pretty sure, you know, y'all would enjoy it, man. But heavy percussion with congos and drums, and you know, it's the driving force behind the, you know, behind the music. But at the same time, it's also a call and response relationship with the crowd. So it's like, y'all feel all right, yeah, y'all having tonight, yeah, you want some more, yeah, we'll get on the floor. You know, it's people, and then some people, they back in the day, they would write their name down and, you know, give it up to the stage, and then my, you know, dad or whoever else is in a different band, they shout the people out. It's like a whole, you see this energy between the band and the crowd, and is nothing like it. So like that going hand in hand with how my father was as a person, he was very relatable. He was very open. So whenever he did give his time to someone, that's who he was giving his time with. And it's like, do what you are doing. You know what I mean? Like, whatever you're doing in the moment, be there in the moment and enjoy the moment, and like appreciate it for what it is. Like, my dad, he would always talk about, he's like, man, I remember at a point in time where nobody want to take a picture with me but police. Now he got, you know, he got to the point where it was a bunch of fans, and even, you know, police that are fans. You know what I mean? So life comes full circle in many different ways, man. And, you know, just seeing how my dad was with the music, and how go-go is, as, you know, as with his makeup, it's a very, back and forth relationship with the crowd.
So for you, obviously, then having obviously your dad be such a instrumental part of DC and being well known, okay, did that open doors for you then? Because obviously I know that obviously you didn't want people to, you wanted them to find that as you went along, but did that make it easier for you though?
In some aspects, yes. In some aspects, yes. It depends on what it is, to be exact. But there's like like if I'm just encountering whoever, it's a like the people who know, it's like a automatic respect. Like, man, your dad was great, man. And some people are like, hey, you good? What you need? You need anything? I'm like, no, I'm good. Or sometimes they might let me in the door at a club or whatever. But it got its perks here and there. Now, as far as with the ladies, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's like 50-50 how I look at it. Is because it's like some women that know, like for me, it's a different mindset that comes with the woman that knows versus a woman that don't.
Fair point.
So a woman that knows that they might have certain expectations of me or certain things that they might have on their mind, but at the same time, I don't know if their intentions are pure. So I take my time with whoever I encounter with or deal with. And then with the woman that don't know, it's like clean slate. So, it's give and take with it. I really don't look at it as like, oh, like it's an advantage, but at the same time, it's like, it could be good. It just depends on the situation, depends on the woman, how she operates, how she moves, where her mind is at.
When was your last serious relationship?
2 years ago.
Okay. How long did it last?
A year and probably like 4 or 5 months.
Calm. Okay. What was that relationship like, and why did it not go further than that?
Relationship, it started fast and ended fast. Just to be honest. As man, it was great. I ain't gonna lie. Like me and the woman, we really hit it off, man. And me, I like joking, and playing around, or just being able to, say like a movie reference or something. And if the person pick it up, it's like, oh, all right. It'll be like, okay, meet me halfway on that. It was cool, but then I realized like the longer we were together, the more we learned about each other. But at the same time, this is during the pandemic.
Of course.
So usually time alone and together would be spaced out, or it would be, kind of like chopped up.
Yeah.
And with her, it was like we was together every day. So it was like, the smallest thing started getting on someone's nerves. That's just a natural thing. You know what I mean? I think with that relationship, it was cool. You know what I mean? I learned what I was supposed to learn from that. And, I appreciate it for the time that it was there. But now it's like, moving forward.
Okay. I hear it. So it started fast, ended fast. All right. When's the last time you've been in love? Was that the same relationship?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was starting out, I was head over heels. I ain't gonna lie. Very beautiful woman, easy on the eyes. I think part of that is what kept me longer than what I really, what I mean, what my gut feeling was telling me is like,
I hear you, bro.
Oh man, get out of here. But at the same time, I'm looking like, she's fine though. Wait a minute. Let me make sure. At the same time, it's like, I learned what I was supposed to, but I did love her at one point. And then it got to the point where it was like exterior factors started affecting what we had.
Oh.
And I ain't like that. It's like when it comes to like energy, right? I'm big on energy. So if you're moving a certain way, say for instance, like I understood, she used to have issues with, outside relationship, like with her child's father, with her mom, with her grandmother, or what have you. And I started to see that the mom and the grandmother almost had a better relationship with the child's father than her. So it would be stuff happening where, she would be out the loop on stuff with the child. And I'm seeing this from afar. I'm like, hey, like, we need to, need to check this. If we gonna be together, if we gonna be a team, yeah, at least listen to what I gotta say. And, I understand that people, if they're doing things a certain way for so long, they so used to it, it's hard to hear someone else from the outside. It's hard to, actually take, anyone is, it's like almost like pigs in a sty. They don't know that they stink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she was used to doing things her way when it came to that. But I started to realize it's like, if you have an argument with your child's father, I'm supposed to be the safe haven. I'm supposed to be, it's like, hey, like, let's talk about it, or are you good? Like, is everything okay? Like, what's the deal? Do I need to check them or what? Like, have we gotten to that point yet? Do you feel comfortable enough with me checking this dude or not? Like, I'm learning all of that during this time. So I'm like, you know what? I'm taking my time with it, but at the same time, it's like, don't bring that energy this way. I can see if you're frustrated or whatever, but then the next thing I know, we chilling in the spot, and you come to me talking about, Wiley, did you leave this on the counter? When I'm like, your tone is something off about your tone right now. Wait a minute. Like, how was your day? I need to know the antecedent. I need to know what was your day like that led up to this point to where you coming at me this way, versus like, hey, let's just talk about how was your day first, so that way I can find out, all right, what exactly is that you mad about? Like, I want to take the time to actually learn this person and see how they operate, because that's a big thing. Like, if we're being able to operate on the same page, and now we can move forward. So, it was just a big time learning experience. And, it ran its course.
Makes sense.
Respectfully, it ran its course.
No, it makes sense as well. Okay, before that relationship, was there another serious relationship before that one as well?
Yeah, so it was two different ones. Well, two ones that stood out a little bit, but big time like experience with. So like I had different phases, man. Like I done had, of course everyone has that high school sweetheart that's been there for forever. So with that woman, known her since second grade, and we she knew me, I knew her, like, but that also ran its course because now people just move in different paths in life. And long time friend, like it even got to the point where we were friends, and I tried to be the guy that's just, I know this woman, so I'm gonna just let her be. But at the same time, like, we're no longer thinking on like relationship. So I would be the one that she would call for like advice from a male's perspective. And then I realized, you know what? Sometimes it might not be a good thing to be the friend, because I ain't never been cool with that. As far as like just being a man, like I don't think that's all the way possible. You know what I mean? Like, in general, like it's possible, but I don't, what I mean? I don't condone it. So with her, it was it was cool, but then we both decided like, hey, let's just go separate ways. So that was that. And then it was two different relationships in college. So it was one, this girl, she ended up going to the military, and I was in school.
Ooh.
Yeah, she ended up going in the Navy, and
Damn.
the timing was off. While I got 6 a.m. workouts coming up. You called me at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I gotta sleep.
Yeah, it didn't work. And then after that, back and forth with the high school sweetheart, years after that, and then we finally let that go. And then I had this phase where I was talking to nothing but older women. And
Talk to me about this phase, Wiley. Huh? How did we get here, bro?
yeah, so it started with being able to go to my dad's shows. This is where I said like it kind of.
Yeah, you can be truthful, fam. We
All right,
understand.
so
Okay.
me going to my dad's shows, he let me rap on stage since I was younger.
Cool.
Outdoor shows only. But I felt like I was starting to make it to the big leagues when he called me for the night show. so this around the time like some nights, it was one night my dad he forgot his amp. Oh no, he forgot his specific guitar. It's a certain type of guitar that gives a different type of sound. He forgot his guitar, so he called my cousin. I was like 17. He calls my cousin and he's like, Daniel, I need you to get my guitar, man, and bring Wiley. I was like, bring Wiley?
I'm in the business.
Yeah, so my dad's voice was hoarse, what I mean? He's kind of like his voice was down. So he's like, Wiley, I need you to rap a little bit on stage tonight. I was like, yes, let's go.
My time, baby.
Yeah. Like this is it. So that night, my dad had a show at LaFonte Blue in DC. And real like cabaret, like Dose Keys, Rico Suave type of vibes. And there's this older woman in there. I was 17, I'll never forget. She was 30. And
we've all been there, bro.
We start dancing and stuff, and then I get on stage, I rap, and I get off, and she's like waiting on the side. and I'm just talking, we vibing. She didn't know I was 17. So she thinking like, oh, you in here, you gotta be old enough.
Of course. I ain't tell a soul. I ain't gonna tell nobody.
So that was my first time, like nothing ever happened, but we did like converse over the phone for a little bit. And that was like the first like taste of, me talking to an older woman. But then after college, I would say at the tail end of college, I went out to Summer Spirit Festival. So this is when after my dad passed away, after my senior year, I went back to school to go play my last year of football.
Okay.
So my senior year to graduate, I came home because that's when my mom had the breakdown. I had two classes and I did an intern in order to still graduate on time, even though I wasn't at home. Even though I wasn't at school, I was at home doing all of this. So I went back to play my last year. And during this time, like I go to this show, it's a Summer Spirit Festival, and in DC, it's a big time show. A lot of people love to come. You got Erykah Badu, Estelle, Mike Epps was yeah. Sometimes you might have like D'Angelo or all them neo soul type of people on it. And the guy that used to run the guy that runs the show, he's a longtime friend of my dad, and he used to promote for my dad too. So Mr. Brooks, Daryl Brooks, he let me and my brothers backstage and stuff, so we able to, like intermingle with the
stars.
Who's who that's there.
So,
yeah. So I remember my cousin, he went at Erykah Badu's sister just because we thought it was her, but I'm like, nah, man, Erykah Badu a little thicker than that. but she looked just like her. And then we like making our rounds, and my cousin is talking to another woman, and there's another woman there. She got these yellow pants on. And I started talking to her. Yeah, I'm talking to her, and she's like, what? We chopping it up. And she's like, how old are you? I said, let me tell you something. My age, I was like, my age is mind over matter. And she was like, what you mean? I said, if you don't mind, then it don't matter. She's like, yeah, she laughed just like that. got her number.
Bars.
She was like, "Oh, you funny." So then, this is the cool thing. The cool thing is like, this is like the first real older woman that I talked to. She was like, much older. In her, I'm like late mid-20s. She's like in her early 40s. So I'm still friends with this woman to this day. You know what I mean? Great woman. She's actually, she told me it's okay to say it, but she's like part of the reason why I even got on the show, because she's the one that gave them my name, that was saying like, "Oh, I would be a great person to, be on the show." It's actually his Doc Gooden's ex-wife. So great woman, man. Monique, she's a great woman. Now, her son is big time football player, and she'll hit me up on advice for her son, like, "Oh, what does he need to do here? What does he need to do there?" So, it's just a great friendship now. But it was so funny how I got her, and she's like, let me know. When she let me know that, about the show, she's like, called me. She's like, "Okay, so I did a thing." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Well, I gave some people your name." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Well, I'm getting ready to do this show. I'm thinking about doing it. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. But they asked me if I knew any great guys." And I was like, "Oh, I got perfect guy for you." I was like, "What you mean?" She said, "Oh, you want DC? I can give you DC."
I'm gonna give you the
She
full.
said, if you could get me, you can get any woman.
That's it. It's the truth.
I was like, okay. So she was like, yeah, so they might be calling you. They called me the very next day. And then I went through this long process of like multiple interviews. And then we also did like I even had to like talk to this doctor to do like the psych evaluation and all that, over
Yeah,
like
yeah,
500 questions. Long process, but I made it through the process. And then they ended up, accepting me on the show. And I was still last minute compared to the other guys though.
So
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, you know, yeah, okay, fine. Okay, so the older ladies are coming to you. Listen, I'm not trying to out you, what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are maintenance, but okay, which ones did you actually I don't need names. I'm just saying in terms of did you date older women though? Like in a capacity, did you date with older women or were these maintenance?
Right. I did date. I did
Okay.
date older woman. It was two of them were like over 5 months, had children, you know. I was playing stepdaddy, making it work. Um, but it got to the point where it was one where we both realized like, hey, I understand you want kids. I don't know if I want kids anymore. And that came to surface maybe like twice with some of the older women that I did talk to. So I knew that would be a thing, especially depending on the woman's age. Whether she's past that point or at the point where, she don't know, or if she's done with having kids,
Mm,
or, just the thought of, having children, and me knowing what I want for myself, respectfully, I understand that as like, what, people's preferences, they are what they are. And whatever the case may be, whatever is right for you, then you're gonna figure it out. And that's some of the things that you have to talk about. You have to talk about these things that, that could be, deal breakers for you. And
mm.
I think being able to lay your cards out and just tell it like it is. You owe that to yourself, and you owe that to that person.
I hear that. I hear that. Okay, so are you in a position now where you're like maybe dating older might not be the best recourse at the moment, or you still
No, no, no. I don't shut out age, mainly
mm,
because like my sister is like 40s. She's like early 40s, and she has a 2-year-old right now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't shut nothing out as far as like Janet Jackson had a baby. You know what I
mm,
mean? But black woman is powerful. You never
mm,
know. But at the same time, I understand that, I do think about growing old with whoever that woman is. I do think about these things. So it's not necessarily dating an older woman is a completely out for me, because if it works, then it works. The same time with, you know, dating someone my age or younger, like I just feel like with whoever that person is, if you both click, if you both want the same things, then, you know, God willing, things will work.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. So obviously, you know, you obviously told us why you why you got onto Red Loves. You were positioned and passed along. The name was passed along. So
Yeah.
you get onto Ready to Love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know it's. Were you aware that that majority of the cast might be a little bit older?
Yeah, it didn't bother me at all because I got experience. And at the same time, I know what I want for myself. Like I am ready for a family. I'm ready to build that foundation of my own. And I know that, you know, eventually I want to have that bond with whoever that woman is, not similar to my parents, but whatever works for us. You know what I mean? I've seen what love looks like in many different ways, seeing different different family members, different friends, like getting married and stuff. And it's like, you know, everyone's time, you know, everyone's on their own time.
Yeah.
But what's right for me, I feel like, you know, within myself, I am ready for a family. I'm ready to not only build a bond with that woman, but, you know, just build an empire. At the same time, like, I feel like not only could we be, you know, life partners, love partners, but also business partners as well. Like, why not build a, you know, build wealth for family, for everyone? Like, I think, you know, your person should be your best friend. You know what I mean? Like the person that you call, like when something happens, you want to call them first. You know what I mean? Or if something's going on, you know that they will give you their, you know, 100% honest opinion, nothing biased or none of that. And I think when you're able to navigate and find that person that's right for you, then I think it's nothing like it.
I definitely hear that. Okay, I hear that. I hear that. So then you get on the show, you get to the mixer. Who's your eye first? Who catches your eye first?
When I first walk in, it was the kid.
Oh, the Kia caught your eye first,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Fine, woman like her.
So
Yeah,
you
okay, I'm
know, I
listening.
first walk in, I'm sitting with Paul, the kid, and Tiffany. And you know, the kid, it was like an instant, like, okay, all right, yellow dress. So,
You like yellow, don't you? It's the second
yeah.
time.
Green is my color though.
Okay.
But yeah. But she looked great, you know what I mean? And then moving along in the mixer, you know, everyone's kind of like checking everyone out. Um, I will say, of course, Joy stood out to everyone. Just and she had green on, but
True.
yeah, she's looking good. And then let me see. With Tiffany, it was more of an energy. Like when I got near her and we start, you know, I could just tell like, oh, something going on here. Like it's the different vibe, especially like when we started talking. We was talking for a very long time that first day. And like they
Yeah.
had to break us up. They like, hey, like go talk to somebody else.
Yeah, look like you lot in deep.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the little part that we saw. Yeah.
Early, like, and some of the conversations that first day, you don't, you know, it didn't make it to air, but I had great conversations with Tiffany. The kid was short. It was kind of short lived because I felt like, you know, all right, I'm gonna eventually get back around to her, but I kind of didn't. So the next time I seen her, I was kind of looking forward to it. And then also another woman that kind of stood out in the beginning was Precious.
Precious is beautiful, you know.
Yeah, Precious stood out because that first day she was all energy.
Energy, she is. Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? What? Yeah, where you from? So I liked that at first, you know what I mean. But then I was expecting it to kind of like us to have a different conversation where it's just like, hey, it's me and you. It was the same with Joy. You know, it was very, very barbershop level, you know, and it was kind of like that with Joy the whole time. But except with Joy, conversations on the phone was great. Like,
Oh.
conversation on the phone was great. You know what I mean? Over 2 hours. but
Oh.
but when I got in person, especially on the group date, the energy changed. I'm like, this ain't the same person I was talking to.
Oh.
So I was just letting it ride. I was letting it ride. She's like, come on, Wiley, come on. And I'm like, looking at her like, I ain't gonna put you on blast right now. I could bam out and be a bammer and be like, man, let's pick up where we left off versus just letting her have it. But I just let her have it because I'm a gentleman, man. Like I don't move like that. Whereas it's like once I saw that the energy was different, I just let it be. You know? Just let it be, because you can. I pick up on tones. Like I think about this type of stuff. It's like, you know, if I'm talking to a woman and it's like, hey, like, what's going on? And she's giving me that back, then I understand. Like, hey, now this is more of an intimate conversation. This is just between me and you versus, hey, how you doing, Wiley? How you been? All right, now, come on. That's Joy in person, but it's not like that on the phone. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, and I think it was mainly just because of who was around, you know, during that date, Clifton and Demetri. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You good?
Oh, I can't hear you.
Oh,
Dang it. Yeah, I got you. Let me hurry up.
Now this is getting tasty and interesting, you know. This is getting interesting now, you know. Now it's making some more sense. You know, I'm gonna press that, you know. I'm gonna press that area, you know. So we're gonna have to ask some questions about that, cause you get me. Oh, let me hold on 1 minute. Ooh, okay. Let me put my heater on because boy, I'm catching a cold in this weather. Will you stop playing with me? All right, that's my brother Wiley. Yes, Wiley, sir. We need you to come with this realness, sir. We're liking this. Keep on this lane, sir. We want to hear more. What you
Yeah, man.
mean? What you mean? So, you know, continue. You're talking about the fact that you was having a conversation with Joy, and then the translation when you actually were together wasn't the same energy you were
Yeah,
getting.
it
Okay.
wasn't the same energy. And that's what I meant, like, just throughout the whole process, like, I'm putting my energy where it's being reciprocated.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to fake no funk for nobody. Like,
I
at
hear
the
that.
end of the day, if I don't feel like it's right for me, I'm not going to move more towards it on it. It's like, what's the what's the ROI here? What's my return on investment? Like, if I'm not really getting much of return on my investment, then why am I putting my time there?
Okay.
It ain't gonna add up. So
Yeah.
same time, like, why waste each other's time? Like, if I know that you got more of a connection somewhere else, and it feels like, hey, Wiley, I'm thinking about, giving you a chance. At the same time, like, be real with it. Don't play with it. So at the same time, I'm looking at it like, I don't know. I feel like it's not sure if it's 100 or not. So
So what was happening on the ropes then? Because on the ropes she said that, if you want it, basically she was saying if you want it, you need to come and get it. Like you need to go
right,
and get it. So were you
right.
not going out and getting it?
No. This is the thing. Like, when
Mm.
it came to I feel like she was talking on behalf of the women versus talking as Joy to Wiley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I felt like she was talking on behalf of the women versus me and her. And that's when I was just looking like, I kind of like just was just letting her have that moment versus
Yeah.
me being, you know, being my brutally honest self and kind of like dismantling her positioning. You know what I mean? Like, you see, I can tell when women playing games or, you know, wanting to kind of like box you in a corner a little bit. And I felt that she was doing that, but at the same time, I'm like, are you doing this just because Clifton over there, or are you doing this because, you know, all the women are saying this? Like, what's your reason? So I was just letting her have it versus like, I don't know. And then when I was talking to, as far as like talking to the other women, I know that from the very beginning, me and Tiffany had a very strong connection. Very strong. I mean, everyone could see it, even the producers, before Clifton and Joy was a thing.
Okay.
So everyone could see that. And then the second day when we meet up for the brunch, I didn't plan on wearing the same color as her, but we walk in wearing the same color. That's energy. You know what I mean? And then we still like gravitate towards each other. It was super strong bond. And I think because the women saw that, it's almost like, well, that's her man. Or, you know, like, oh, yeah. Anytime the women or Tiffany would bring me up, then it turns into, oh, y'all so cute. Oh, it's like, oh, Wiley. And if she say my name, and she might light up a little bit, and the women see that, it's like, it's almost like they ain't want to, you know, they ain't want to, you know, step on or intrude on someone's connection, you know, step on toes, intrude on a connection. And then at the same time, it's, you know, we having these different dates and stuff.
Of course.
No woman ever wants to feel like there's somebody sloppy seconds or, you know, a second thought. I think that played a factor as well as my age. I think it was an easy target. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, anyone can say my age, but until we had that conversation and actually, you know, one, just give me the opportunity, or I'll create the opportunity. It don't matter. Whenever that moment happens, let's have the conversation versus you cutting me off or blocking me off just because you see my age as a book cover surface.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, his age, but nah, let's read each other's book. Let's get into it. I feel like I didn't get that opportunity.
Okay. I mean, it looked like, you know, at the point Dakia was interested in you. You know, I mean, she put her hand on your chest. You know, you lot were touching hands. You lot were holding hands. I mean, she led you out of a building, bro. I said she had you leading out there. She was leading you like a lamb to the slaughter.
No.
Did you go to the slaughter?
Yeah. That was So with the kid, it was. Come on, man.
Come on, Wiley. We know we're about the same age, brother. I know what goes down, boy.
Yeah.
Talk to me, sir.
So with the kid, we both knew that it was a certain type of energy there, and it was definitely it was more than what you seen at the surface as far as like just the initial conversations or what have you. It's definitely you know, something that was deeper, but I would say her hesitation and my, you know, kind of like being just still trying to figure everyone out, especially after Tiffany left. I think she was really on the fence of wanting to really, you know, move forward or actually give me a chance. But I think her hesitation had to do with my age, as well as you know, how I might look. I think some people, you know, they might care about how something looks versus actually going with what they feel. And I could feel that. I could hear it in, you know, the conversations we had. And then just I think a lot of the women probably felt that way, even though we're not that much far in age. I think it was more about how I might look, you know, because it's totally different. I can show you, well, this one, I can show you my phone right now, and it's different ball game. but you know,
different ball game with the cast.
Huh?
Different ball game with the cast, sir.
No comment.
No, I know, Wiley.
No comment. I plead the fifth. Stop. I'm playing.
Wiley. Wiley.
But respectfully, I would say,
Oh, yeah.
I would say that it's different when you're in the process versus when you're out and you're able to see, hindsight is 2020. So I'll leave it at that.
No, Wiley. Master Wiley. Now, I don't need to know the intricate details or who those people you're talking about, but okay, so obviously, the key obviously, was hot on your heels. You obviously just said, obviously,
for a hot second.
For a hot second.
So Eric showed up and
destroyed the game. Okay.
Yeah.
So
more, and then as the whole thing goes on, it was just hot second. But I ain't cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're good. All right. So the key wasn't the one because obviously, like I said, then obviously you have your Tina comes in. Tina comes in. What happened there?
So with Tina, man, that was actually a great date.
You
didn't really get to see the details or the substance that was there in that date, but man, we talked about a lot. We talked about where we from as far as like background, what we want in our next significant other, what we had to deal with beforehand, and also we even touched on just beliefs. And she asked me about religion.
Yeah.
And I let her know, like, I let her know where I was at, and it's crazy that she's kind of like on the same page after hearing what I had to say. And with me, I grew up Baptist with my parents. My mom would take us to church here and there. My dad never forced nothing on us, but he grew up, Christian Baptist as well. But I've seen that, the older I've gotten, the more I started to learn on my own. And, I got saved. And then I got to a point where I started doing even more research, and you started to unlearn what you learned.
I hear that, bro.
And and my thing is like, I believe in God. I do. But I believe in one universal God. And the same God that created the stars, the sun, the moon, and all the other planets is the same God that created me.
Amen.
And, he is I and I am him. So God is in me just as God is in everything. So I have that light within me. That's why when you ask me, like, who are you? I'm a light being having this human experience. So, that's just how I move. And when I started touching on that, usually I don't give that to people because it's like, if the organic conversation happens and then we're able to talk about that, then yeah, but that's not for everyone. Like what my belief system is not for everyone. Now, as far as dating, it don't matter to me whatever your religion is, because as long as we're on the same page and we respect each other, then that's all that should matter. Because I respect you, where you're coming from, you respect where I'm coming from. If we're able to come together, that's all that should matter. But me and Tina, it was a great date. I think after my date with her, I think she just wanted to test the waters, just see what else was out there, versus like just being, held down by old Wiley. And
were you consistent in your conversation? Were you consistent in your pursuit?
So with Tina, it happened very fast.
Okay.
Like our dates were like, we went on one date, and then right after that we was on a group date. Right after that, I think they put on, a few more dates. So it was like the timing was fast.
Okay.
I think as far as the conversation was there, but I think her interest, started to go elsewhere. It's especially for, when someone can find something that they would want to go for versus something that they just being open to. It's two totally different things. And I've seen that. And I'm like,
Where did you see it?
huh?
Where did you see it?
I saw it, at the pool party.
Okay.
So, we were talking at the pool party, and then, I could see that, she was kind of like, making her rounds as I was doing the same. And just, just peeping the scene, I'm checking different women, and I'm saying like, oh, okay, they actually vibing over there. And I saw her and Paul vibing almost like most of the pool party day, like most of the time we were doing a pool party. So I wasn't surprised when she went to go rub on his shoulder, but to everyone else, it's like, dang, Wiley, like, what happened? But at the same time, I'm like, it's just part of the process. It is what it is. So it didn't bother me none, but to everyone else, it looked crazy. It's like, dang, Wiley, she just got here with you, and now she over, with Paul. And it's like, hey, let them choose. I'm not gonna hold nobody's hand, but at the same time, like, if you vibing with me, then it'll be known. If not, then by all means, move on.
So you didn't, like, cut communication short then?
No. My thing with her, it was just like, just let her learn the process. At the same time, I had, like, we had our initial date, and then we had a group date right after that. So I was kind of like letting her breathe, just like, all right, let's let it breathe. And my thing is like, hey, if a woman and a man is really connecting, it's just gonna be a gravitational pull.
Okay.
Kind of how it was with me and Tiffany. It'll just organically and naturally happen. Nothing should be forced. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with me courting a woman. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with me letting her know, like, hey, I'm intrigued by you. I want to, learn more about you. I want to talk to you. I want to, like, let's get into it.
Yeah.
But I didn't really during that time after my date with Tina, I was really, I was feeling her, and at the same time I wanted to, like, let her figure it out on her own versus me. I didn't want to force anything. So that's where I was at with it. I didn't want to force.
I get that, but did you end? So okay, so how you did with Joy. You was calling,
Yeah,
and you sensed the energy shift, so you probably might have stopped calling.
right.
Were you calling Tina? That's what I want to know. Were you calling Argentina? You wasn't calling Argentina.
Nah, wasn't.
Why wasn't you calling Argentina? That's what we're asking. Why?
I don't know.
Were you not feeling it, bro? We can keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. Listen, you can be attracted, but you don't have to be attracted. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I wasn't hot on. You know what I mean? I wasn't hot on her heels like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something wasn't right for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think and I kind of seen it on our date. Like, I was trying to, let her know, like, hey, this is how certain stuff might be. Like, trying to, like, walk her through the process because everything was new to her on my date. So it was almost like I was kind of playing a role of like, hey, let me walk you through this. Let me hold your hand and walk you through this process because I know it's going to be a shock. And after that, I just wasn't hot on the heels like that. Like any other woman, you kind of be more on it. But to be honest with you, I wasn't. And I saw that, it was just, I felt like her speaking about her 2-year-old, and as well as because that was kind of like a, not a red flag, but it was a.
You can say it. Just to be honest, it's okay.
For me, it was something to think about. It's like you have a 2-year-old. What's that relationship like with the dad? With the baby father? And she was like, there is not one. And I'm like, okay, so if it's no relationship, like, how did it happen? We talk about how it happened. She was like, yeah, he just left me out to dry. And I'm like, dang, that's unfortunate. But to me, it's a possibility that there could be some unfinished business over there. So me dealing with, baby daddy issues from my last relationship,
He's like, nah.
it kind of stirred me the other way.
You know what? That's real, bro. That's real. And I rate that. For you, it's like, yep, done it before. Don't want to do it again, just in case. Rather just avoid it rather than get anywhere close. Fair play. That's a fair shout. I can't argue that at all. Definitely can't argue that at all. But is she one of the people you're talking to? Oh, no. That's okay. I just want to make sure. I won't ask anymore. Cool.
You're good, you. You're good, you. Got my eye.
Oh man. All right, that's cool. No, I get that. I totally get that. Totally understand that as well.
I saw what you did there.
Gotta roll them off one by one, innit? But no. Okay, cool. So you obviously had that didn't go down the way you wanted to. Like I said, obviously you saw some things and that was not for you. That's fair enough. And then obviously, you obviously then you then obviously kind of come out the show, but we get to find out obviously yourself and Tiffany kind of pick it back up again. I mean,
it was all right, so the deal with what happened with me and Tiffany, it was great, man. We kind of picked up where we left off. Was dating for a little bit, and I would say that the time spent together was great.
Okay.
It was nothing majorly wrong with anything that with the time we spent, because we did a lot of stuff together, like going to different restaurants, or just doing different things. Like, we actually spent some good quality time together. I even met her, I met her son.
Oh, deep. Okay.
Yeah. We took a little trip to Virginia Beach.
You was doing bits.
On the way, wasn't really ready, but on the way, stopped by her mom's house. Great people, met her mom, met her stepdad. Great people.
Did she stop the car, or did you stop the car?
Huh?
I said, who stopped the car that you met the parents? Did you stop the car, or did she stop the car? Whose idea was it?
I was driving.
Okay, was it her idea to stop off the way, or was your idea?
She wanted to stop by. And,
she wanted to stop by.
It was on the way,
It was on the way. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It sounds like fast and fast.
Yeah, it was cool. Cool. Met her brother.
Okay.
All great people, but at the same time, I wanted to take my time.
Okay.
I had a lot going on, not only at work, but in my personal life. I had an uncle that passed away.
Sorry to hear that, bro.
Yeah, I had a crazy incident, at my school where I work at. And at the same time, it was just like, I felt like it was a lot at once. And, I let her know, like, hey, I need to take a break from everything right now. And she was like, didn't really understand. It's like, why? Everything is good. I'm like, I need you to hear where I'm coming from. Like, understand what I'm asking of you, as far as like what I need, because for me to be good, like, I can't be good to anyone else if I'm not good for myself.
That's a fair point.
So I realized, like, and then even having different relationships where you kind of learn like what works for you and what doesn't. And I knew during that time I needed some time to myself. So initially she wasn't trying to hear it. And then we got to a place where we we had mutual understanding, that I just needed to recalibrate, get my together, and really just work through my emotions. I know that she's a great woman. Great woman, man. I mean, she wanted to be there with me, but at the same time, I felt like it was so early that I'm like, I don't want to throw my stuff on you or use this moment as a crutch. I understand that, you know, people grow together, but at the same time, for me, it was too early for all of that, for me to allow my problems to become your problems. So, you know, I took a step back, and then, you know, we became, you know, friends, and then it was, you know, up and down, you know, emotional strings here and there, but at the same time, it was we got to a mutual understanding where, you know, we just cool, you know what I mean, respectful of each other, and just moving forward.
Okay, wait, and what's the time frame here?
I don't know, man.
Wiley.
Yeah, I don't know you, man. You're good. You almost got me. We're gonna move forward and make
Okay. Oh wait. Okay. Wait. Did she meet your parents then? I mean, meet your mum. Sorry, I should say. Apologies. Did she meet your mum?
I can't remember.
What?
I think she did. Yeah, she did. Yeah. But it wasn't like, hey, you know, I think I was like in and out the house that day. Probably one, you know, I probably left something at my mom's spot.
Now, Wiley, you don't play with me.
I'm
What do you
dead
mean?
serious,
What
man.
do you mean? What do you mean? Hey, she met your mum.
Yeah.
Did you invite her?
Yeah, she was at my house, but it wasn't like
Formally
it was.
meeting
I
the
think
mum.
it was more in passing because
Okay.
my mom, you know, she's so to herself and stuff that it was, you know, where hers like, oh hey, hi, how you been? How are you? And you know, my mom, she's very short with even my siblings now. So I know she's short, but if she do like someone, then she will speak to them. I remember she was speaking to Tiffany. So
Okay.
yeah.
No, I get it. I understand that. So, okay. So, like, you know what? Like, because, you know, that it gets complicated, obviously, because when you said, obviously, that, you know, there was a time period where you guys were kind of separating, you kind of getting a bit of distance, but was there still connection being involved? You know what kind of connection I'm talking about? Was there still connection still being involved, though? Because if we're kind of distance things, but we're still maintaining, it could be an issue. So were we distancing and then still maintaining?
Yes, it was. You know, communication, like with Tiffany is kind of like we both understand that it's a certain connection there that goes beyond, like, you know, even if you're going to be in a relationship with this person, like I understand that connection with her is, you know, it's on a different level.
Yeah.
So like I can literally like pick up the phone and talk to her about anything, and she could do the same with me. Like you really got to know each other. But as far as me understanding what might be healthy and what not might be healthy as far as a relationship goes, that's where I kind of put more thought into being smart about, you know, not necessarily being on the phone all night sometimes. Like, you know, we're not going to grow to take it there, then why
I
water?
do
Yeah,
extra stuff.
right. So great woman, man. Great woman overall. Got nothing but good things to say about her.
No, I definitely hear that. Definitely hear that.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely hear that. So are you basically saying that you wasn't comfortable with the speed that the relationship was going in?
I
'Cause
was moving
that's what I'm hearing.
right. I was moving too fast, and
Oh,
I let her know that.
you was moving too fast.
Right. Initially, I was moving too fast, and I was just really going with the flow. Um, but then certain things started to happen, and I started realizing, like, hold up, wait a minute, I did this before, or maybe like, hold on, maybe I need to slow it down a little bit.
Okay, what did you do before that you were doing again? Let us know.
Kind of just, you know, being all, you know, just kind of like falling fast.
Falling fast.
Yeah, like I did with relationship, and she, you know, she got on me about that, like, don't bring your past into this. And I'm just like, I understand, but people have to learn from, you know, learn their lessons and move differently, move better, moving forward. So that's something I definitely thought about. I tethered with as far as, you know, how I should move about certain things, but your gut never lies, and I went with my gut.
The gut.
Yeah.
Did your gut also tell you about maybe the other connections you were having at the same time, Wiley? Did your gut tell you that, Wiley?
Yes.
Did your gut tell you about the fact you were having other connections at the same time, sir? Did they?
As far as other connections at the same time, I would say no, mainly because when I was connecting with Tiffany, compared to other women on the show, it was nothing like it. So I really was kind of like starting all over once she left.
Okay.
And it was really like kind of like no man's land, like dry. Like, hey, figure it out. You gotta learn how to swim. Like, your raft ain't here no more.
You got basically rebuild, basically, in a sense. Yeah.
And really just starting from ground zero. So I didn't have any connections during the show. It was somewhat light with, you know, it was light with the kid, a little light with Joy, much lighter with Joy. Ace, great date with Ace. You didn't see the substance that we talked about. We was laughing and joking the whole date, man. It was crazy because it was just like, I thought very little of Ace moving forward. Like, I thought little of her because I ain't had much to go off of.
I get you saying.
Right. And then after I had my date with Ace, I understood what Vern was talking about. I was like, dang, all right, she's very dope. She giving me Erykah Badu vibes.
That's what you need, isn't it? That chill vibe. That's what you needed, Wiley.
Man. And it was, I would say Ace, great woman, man. You know, she talked about her son, she talked about everything that she does. And we got to a point where we was laughing and joking about movies. And I'm like, dang, this is my type of vibe right here. We talking about movies, we getting somewhere. And then I would say I really hesitated on following up with that.
Okay.
I did hesitate on following up with Ace, mainly because I felt like she was already connecting with Vern.
I get you.
And you know, her and Tiffany are great friends. So it's like,
kind of tight.
Like, how do you
Yeah, but obviously, I mean, after you found out, obviously, her and Laverne didn't necessarily work out.
Right.
Did you guys when did you start connecting again?
I reached out to her. I let her know that my date with her was my best date on the whole show. I let her know that. She was like, wow, Wiley. Oh wow, you know, I didn't know that.
Making the moves.
So smooth, man. And afterwards I really couldn't we talked, and you know, I think she definitely let me know, like, hey, like, me and Tiffany are great friends, you know. I can't It was just like, I can't.
Cop block is serious.
I respect our friendship. I respect what you guys have, and I'm just like, like, you know, I just let it be. But great woman. The kid, great friends. Me and the kid, great friends. We both, you know, from hometown area, so she's more of like a homie, you know. Great woman though. Sabrina is somebody I felt like I could have went more after, but I felt like with certain people, once their connection started to show, it was just like, just let it play out. And I felt like with her and Joy, it was too far gone with who they were.
Respective, yeah.
Right. But Sabrina, great woman. You know, I think just learning about her and, you know, in general, some of our uh some of our dynamics in life kind of line up. Like
Mm-hmm.
outside of her being married before.
Yeah.
You know, she has a great relationship with her sister, just like I have a great relationship with my brother.
Mm.
She's the she's the cool aunt. I'm the cool uncle. You know, just similarities, but
Mm.
I never really explored that. So I just let it, you know, just let it be. With Precious, I felt like me and Precious was definitely misunderstood.
Mm.
Precious, you know,
Did you try? Have you understood her now? Now you're talking.
no. Precious is she we had brief conversations. But I think during the process, you know, it was a group date where she actually told me that I was her number one. And it kind of threw me for a loop because
Mm.
the conversations before that, leading up to that, it was very minor. You know, like some of the other women, you get a bunch of text messages right before deliberation.
Then you know.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know about that. Like, um, you know, right before we get ready to talk to Tommy, I'm getting phone calls here and there. So I'm like, I don't know if
Mm.
that's real or not. And then when we went on our group date and Precious told me like, hey Wiley, you know, I just want to let you know that you know,
Mm.
you're my number one. And oh yeah. And I was just like, okay. Like I ain't really jumping because I'm trying to do some calculations here.
Mm. What are the calculations you're making?
I'm trying to make sure that what she's saying is lining up with her actions.
Okay. Did you
Right.
feel like her actions were lining up? I had her on yesterday, but did you feel that her actions were lining up what she was saying? In an honest truth, like not in a bad mind way, just in a
Mm-hmm.
just as a as men, I was telling
Mm-hmm.
her my perspective from a men's point of view,
I
but
think
you were actually there.
I think she might have, you know, was just testing the waters and saying like where she was at with me.
Mm.
And, you know, she let me know where, you know, where I was at in that moment. When she did tell me that because we had a group date. It was her, Sabrina, Eric and Carmen
Mm.
and myself. And, you know, it was a cool group date. We were I don't think no one got to see it because I didn't make the air.
They
But
didn't.
it was a cool group date and she let me know. So then I took it as like, you know what? All right, this is new information. Let me process this before I jump on it or before I move on it. So I really just wanted to kind of like learn more about her during that time just to see like, all right, what is it that made you, you know, kind of change your mind? Because this is my first time hearing of this.
Mm.
So I was just taking my time. I felt like part of me taking my time was, you know, women wanted to know like right then and there versus like with me, I'm moving a certain way because I know what works for me.
Mm. So why after the show haven't you really kind of like connected with her then?
With Precious, so we hung me, Precious, the kids, Sabrina, we all hung out and watched the show
Mm.
one time at the kids spot. It was real cool. Um they're great friends.
Mm.
So it was like you got
Bit techie again. It's a bit tricky again.
it's a slippery slope.
Okay.
But you know, they cool. They all cool, man.
Mm.
Definitely got to be mindful of, you know, if you want to move a certain way with
Mm.
one, and the other's going no. So,
I get you. I get you.
yeah.
So what is it about the Kia that's made what is it about the Kia then that has made you kind of still talk to her after the show then?
I think it's just a mutual understanding of like knowing, like we're both from the area, so I think we connect on that. But
Okay.
it's just a friendship, you know. She's just a good person to talk to here and there. But I wouldn't look at it as something that's going on, you know.
Mm. Okay. No, I get that. I get that. And obviously, I know that because that's their friendship circle. Obviously, Sabrina's in that circle as well.
Right.
You know, you know, I know that you guys have connected after the show as well. So, like, what's that been like with Sabrina then?
With Sabrina, like, you know, it's hearing their conversations. She's busy at times where it's almost like it kind of reminds me of myself because I'm always doing something. I'm always like have something to do, but with her it's like, you know, we might text here and there, or it might be like something on Instagram, or if it's a conversation, is, you know, it's brief, it's very brief. But with her, it's almost like I see some of myself in her, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like, so I really haven't moved on it. You know what I mean? I really haven't moved on that, but I see what it is. You know, I see what's there. She's a great woman with, you know, everything she's doing, but that's not something I'm pursuing.
Okay, okay. So, Wiley, which one is it that you're saying you're talking to after the show? Because you just said everybody's a friend. I went for every single girl, and you just said that every single one of us is a friend. So, which one is it you're talking to, bro?
No
Which one are you connected to? No. You told me you're connected. I didn't say. You said you're connected, and you went through them and said you were friends with all of them. And you're barely talking. You said it. So, hey, you better tell me the truth. It's okay to come clean. It's okay to come clean, sir. You can tell me the truth now because we've gone through it. I cornered every single girl. So, which one is it, bro? You gonna have to come clean now. You gonna have to come clean now. All right,
it's none of them. It's none of them. It's none of them. There's none of them. They all cool. They all cool.
Okay. Okay, Wiley.
No, I'm for real. I'm for real.
There is a question I have to ask though. Tiffany was on our live, and she was saying that, you know, that you didn't fully disclose the kind of connections you were having with the other ladies to her, the way that, you know, she wasn't aware. You didn't make her aware in part of the relationship. I'm gonna need you to kind of break that down, because she said on our live, this was on the live, so this I can use that.
She wasn't
as aware with some of the, you weren't as forthcoming about how deep your relationship with some of the people on the show were.
Right. So with me letting her know, like, hey, our connection is deep, and she know what our connection is, she took it as if, like, even though she wasn't on the show anymore, that I'm just not gonna be talking to nobody.
Okay.
Or like I'm just not gonna be, you know, conversing with other women. Whereas, like, you know, with her, with how she moves, she, you know, she told me before that, like, hey, like, when I'm like really locking in with someone, the other people just fall off, or I just stop talking to everyone else. Me, I'm trying to make sure that I'm just doing my due diligence by not only you know, vetting and making sure that whatever the connection is or is not there, that, you know, that I give it ample amount of time. I think it was very tricky during the process, man, because during the process is like you see where things kind of play out.
Yeah.
But after the fact, it's almost like people are a little more lax and a little more like, whew, like woosah. So now if, you know, if I get a call from someone, I'm able to get a much deeper conversation than what I got on camera.
Yeah.
So I think her probably finding out, like, oh yeah, like if the women link up, man, one of them was like, oh yeah, I talked to Wiley the other day, blah blah blah, and she's looking like, what? Like, what do you mean you talked to Wiley? Wiley told me there's nothing there, but I told her that as far as compared to what we had, it's not the same. Now,
did you explain it like that?
I did.
That it's not. So it's not that.
And from what now, and her uneasiness probably came from, you know, from seeing the different episodes, or, you know, seeing what might have transpired on the dates. especially like with my date with the kid.
Mm.
Not the date with the kid, but the brunch where we're sitting there, we're talking, kind of conversing,
Hand in hand.
right? And with Tiffany during that time, most of the women was looking at me and Tiffany as like locked in. So if Tiffany's thinking like, oh, we're good, then her we're good is more of a exclusivity,
Okay.
exclusive, more of an
Yeah.
exclusiveness versus mine is like, all right, that's a great connection there, but let me make sure I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket. And I think naturally that's what people like, depending on how you are as a person, you kind of you give more to what's working for you.
I hear you.
I think she was really taken aback, man. She even called me, was like, I can't believe I saw that. I can't believe that you still talking to these women. I'm like, what do you like? How do you explain where people move different when it comes to certain things? Like, if you move a certain way, that don't necessarily mean I'm supposed to move that way too.
Of course.
So I think that's where her, frustrations or uneasiness probably came from. And I even talked to her about it. It's like, hey, like, what you mean I was being dishonest? I was never dishonest with you. I was never dishonest with you. I always kept it a buck. I always kept it 100 with her. I always was, let her know what was going on or where I was at. Especially if, I'm conversing with other women. If she asks me, and I'm like, yeah, I did talk to her. Like, I have nothing to hide. But I think as far as the details, I think that's what she probably was more, possibly upset about. I don't know.
So was it the fact that you were falling too fast, or was she really falling too fast? Because, but what you're saying right now, this is not about you falling fast. This is what I'm hearing is she was closing in, and it was a bit too quick for you, and maybe you are saying that just to be nice because you obviously don't want to you don't want to be rude. I can tell you're a nice gentleman. You're not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. But was it really that you're falling too fast, or was the fact that you felt like it was moving at a pace that you weren't comfortable with?
I think it was more me doing things that would, with anyone else is like, oh, we met each other's parents, or we did all these things. But for me, it's a cohesiveness that has to happen with, like, for me, it takes me time to really let a woman know about my feelings and stuff. Like, it would be times where she'd be like, you don't talk about how you feel. And I'm like, because I'm not ready yet, or I'm not there yet. So when I get to that point, then I'll let you know. But right now, I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still processing certain things. So for me, yeah, we can be spending time together or doing different things, but for me, I also have to verbalize certain things too. And I think because she was seeing things and wasn't hearing it, it wasn't adding up. So for me, I felt like I was moving too fast, mainly because I know that with anyone, like, if you're doing certain things, then especially meeting each other's moms, that's like, yeah, that's like you going to deeper levels. But at the same time, I was like, this is very early. Like, let me slow down. So I will take that, because I was doing things like, even wanting to, like, go to a game or whatever, like, just doing different things where I wanted to spend time with this person. But she also let me know, like, there's nothing wrong with, if you're able to do nothing with someone and like have a good time, just talk to them.
I agree
Like, that's great. And I think it was a point in time when me and Tiffany did have that. But I think it was for me, it was sensory overload. So I had to take a step back, because not only was it that, but it was also other things going on in my life during that time where I'm like, I need to take a step back. I'm moving too fast. So I take that on me.
Mm. Hmm. Hmm. Wiley. Hmm. Inquiring minds are hearing this, and I'm hearing what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me ask this. Let me a different question.
Okay.
You've fallen too fast beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
You're falling fast here. Why are you falling so fast?
I think it's more of a me thing where
Mhm.
I want, it's different times where, of course you can want these things for yourself, like you could want to be, in a relationship with someone and all that. This is why I had to really take a step back and really realize, like, all right, maybe I'm the one that's moving wrong here, because it's happened before, and it started fast and ended fast. So I think it was really me realizing, like, hey, what is it about me that I need to change?
Mm.
What is it about me that I need to address, so that way moving forward I don't run into the same thing. And I think it's a difference between wanting certain things, and then
Yeah.
two, it naturally happening. Like you could want certain things for yourself, or these two people could be coming from, like, one person hasn't been in a relationship for a long time, and another person, they want to be in a relationship with someone, and you have this energy come together. So are you doing it for the right reason? Are you rushing it? Or are you really like taking time with making sure that it's the right thing?
Mm.
And I've had that happen before, where it's like with my last relationship, I wanted the family. I wanted to, build that bond and foundation. But with her, she was still dealing with, things that she had unfinished business, or wasn't completely healed from. So now you have two different people with two different things that they're coming at one point, and they're getting whatever satisfaction and validation, or whatever is helping them through that time. But is it right for you?
Mm.
And that's something I really I started paying attention to.
Mm.
So it's like, you know what, like, let me definitely, go with what feels right, but at the same time really look at it, analyze it, and make sure that it's the right thing.
What did you see, Wiley?
I saw a woman, with, as far as Tiffany
You don't
goes.
have to, you don't have to expose it. I don't want you to expose it, because that's I don't want you to do that to yourself.
mm,
But
uh,
you
uh
saw something, because it sounds like what you're telling me right now. The hidden message, which you're not really giving me right now, is it sounds like you saw something and it made you pull back. Because as a man, I
mm,
very much well know it. Falling fast ain't the issue. The issue is
right,
when we're not in control of what's going on. So
right.
you saw something, right,
I
that
did.
you weren't feeling.
Yeah, it was
Uh huh.
come on, man. You good at this, man. You're good. Somebody get this man an Oscar. He deserves the Oscar. All right, so straight up with it, for me, I saw, a woman that really saw the process as, what, I'm here for love. I was there for the same thing, but I'm not gonna rush into it. I really wanted to take my time. I felt like with Tiffany, she was more hopeless romantic with it,
Mm,
very, all in with what felt right.
okay, I get you.
And And with me, I saw, especially like when certain things would come up, she was so on it that it made me want to take a step back. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm asking you for some time. Like, if you're understanding, then, give me some time. And then I'm not the type of person to just jump back into something, right? I want to build to that moment or build past that point. So if I take a step back, then I want to be able to like have the small things kind of naturally come back
Yeah.
that made it what it was in the first place, and then build on that versus jumping right back to where we were and just moving forward like the time that elapsed wasn't there.
Mm.
Um, with Tiffany, I think it was, she definitely super ready for love.
Mm.
And she give her all with whatever it is that's in front of her. For me, I saw a certain vulnerability with both of us.
Mm.
On her end, I think it was more like kind of like fairy tale-ish, like this is my happily ever after.
Mm.
Versus myself, I was vulnerable with, all right, let's give it a shot. Like, I'm not going to do things I did before. Like, let's give it a shot. But at the same time, I wanted to make sure that it was right for me.
Right. So you.
Yeah.
So the walls were closing in too fast, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you felt trapped.
Not trapped. I felt just a little rushed.
Okay, that's fair play.
Hmm.
That's fair play. Which is why I was trying to say, like, I didn't get because I wasn't understanding you falling fast. I get you falling fast, but as a man, that's not really our issue. Our issue is when it's not in our control. When we feel things are not going in our control, that's when
Hmm.
we start having heart palpitations to the situations. Like, brother,
Right.
and you know what I
I
mean?
really, I really blame, I really take that moment on not only with Tiffany, but also with everything else that was going on in my life. I'm like, let
Mm,
me get a handle on the other things, because if I'm losing myself in you, and now I'm losing balance on other things that's going on in my life, now I got to look at myself, because I'm the one that's allowing this to happen.
hey,
Yeah.
I hear that. I hear that. Okay. So, I mean, are you ready for love? Look, in all honesty,
Hmm.
Wiley, right now, are you truly ready for love, though?
I believe I am. And it's mainly because I've gotten to the point where I've done the work with myself.
Okay.
And I know that, you know, now I am looking at things a little differently. I think, from having conversations with, other people and different women, um, realizing that if you line up with whatever the person is, whoever that whoever that woman may be, if our lives are kind of lining up, and for me, I would actually want someone that's similarly situated.
Mm,
So I think it's different when you have one person that's been married before, have children or what have you. And then it could be something totally different where it's like you both are walking into certain things at the same time.
mm.
That is something I'm considering, but I know that, life is funny sometimes.
It does.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I'm not shutting nothing out, but it is something I have thought about. But I know that, whatever woman is right for me, that, you know, not only will it happen in the right arena, Like if we're kind of like going in a certain direction, we'll eventually cross paths, or we'll eventually like meet each other at the right time. Or even if I'm pursuing a certain woman, then because I am persistent when it comes to
pursuit.
Yeah, pursuit. So if it's a woman that I'm courting, then and then it hits off, then I'm all with it, because I know that I want to build on bond with whoever that woman is. I want to be able to not only learn her but also grow with her and teach each other. Be each other's strengths where we are weak. If I'm not as strong in a certain area, then it just so happened that she might be the one to be there, or vice versa. I love to be able to not only with whoever I deal with, to be able to leave them with something that they learn from me. Like if I'm able to teach someone something and leave an impact, then I feel like I'm doing the right thing in life. But as far as a life partner, it should be back and forth, and definitely locking in. So I'm all for it, man. I'm ready to, build my own family and
I believe
start
that.
start my tribe over here.
Mm. No, I actually believe that, to be honest. I actually believe what you've told me, so I can't lie to you. Do you think, my final kind of question on this then, do you feel that you may not be dating older? Maybe looking at someone a bit more your age, maybe even younger? Because if you date older, they're gonna always have speed.
Right. Right.
So if you want that slow pace, you're smaller. You're creating a smaller market. I'm not saying there's no woman out there for that, but I'm
Yeah,
saying it
it's
makes the market
it's
smaller.
not about the timing, because with some people they might be hitting it off in 3 months and then get married, or other people it might take a year or two. I'm open to whatever works for me. So if it is, if I do hit it off with a certain woman and I'm on bended knee, then I'm all for it, man. I just think, with whatever the person is, then it'll be right for me. So I ain't worried about the timing. I'm not worried about, what might come with this person, because it's always something to learn. It's always gonna be something new every day. So as long as that person is right for me, then I'm all for it.
All right, cool. I rocks with that. What did you learn from the process then? What did you learn about the process?
Definitely lay your cards out. Lay your cards out early, because you never know what that person might come across to impact them in a different way. So always go with your gut. That's something I felt like I should have did, with pursuing some of the women on the show, versus laser focus on, just one. Um, and I think, if I were to do it again, I would have more fun with it. Have more fun with the whole process.
What does that actually mean? Have more fun? What do you mean by that?
Uh, Talking to different women, being more open, and really letting them in on who I am earlier than what I'm used to. Because what I did, I was definitely I was just taking my time. I was sluggish. You know what I mean? I was slugging it out.
I get it though.
I think I was really trying to really like figure out where I was with certain women, especially after Tiffany left, because it was almost like starting all over. Versus if I were to put my eggs in different baskets starting out, I wouldn't have had that issue.
Listen, I get that. I totally hear that. Any projects, any songs, any music,
Yes.
anything out there? Come on, talk to us, sir. We want to
Yeah,
support
man.
you.
I actually have a show this Saturday,
Jeez.
April 2nd in DC.
Come on.
It's for like, it's at the Wharf in DC. It's for like the cherry blossom thing, and myself and the Chuck Brown Band will be performing. I have a new single out.
Come on.
Been sitting on it for some years, so the
Come
funny
on.
is like the name of the song and like what I'm talking about is very like playful on like just relationships and how one should move if they are not obligated. So that's what the song is called Not Obligated. Created with my brother and produced by the late great Chucky Thompson. So rest in peace to Chucky, man. He actually started out with my dad playing the congos and then ended up moving on to with Puffy and the Hitman and all of that, man. Great dude, man. Great musical genius. And I was honored to work with him the same way that, he started out with my dad. It was almost like my first single was with him. So it was like it's cool, it's
cool.
Funny how life comes full circle. Also I have a new play that I'm gonna be in. So just
you act as well, yeah.
Yeah. I'm out. I was doing it in college. I took acting in college at Virginia Tech, and my professor, she wanted me in a few different plays and stuff because I was so great in class. But because of football, I wasn't able to do the plays. But now I'm it's something that me and my dad, like, we watch movies and like mimic the people. And he'd talk. He was big with like the mafia guys. And, well, what are you gonna do? Bada bing, bada boom. Jimmy Tool is swimming with the fishes. Or just me being a movie buff, man. I'm big on like movies in general. So it's just like, oh yeah, that boy's good. Yeah, good and terrible. Good and terrible. So like I love movies, man. I love watching movies. So being able to act is something I always wanted to do. It's something my father, always tethered on wanting to do. He did commercials here and there, or like just in some of his videos, he like do a little bit of acting before. But it's like for me, it's something that I do want to pursue. So that's what I'm doing. The play is called Mothers of Old.
Oh, Mothers of Old. Okay.
Mothers of Old. I play the character Sleepy. And it's funny that I'm playing the character Sleepy because my mom's old nickname for me used to be Old Rip because I used to sleep a lot as a kid.
It's quite up to you.
Yeah, man, I used to sleep a lot. I used to love sleep. And like I stopped when it was one day my brothers, they getting up, they gone with their friends. And I called them like, man, where y'all at? They're like, oh, we at Kingston Inn. Like, what? Y'all gonna leave? How y'all gonna leave me, man? What? They like, oh man, you asleep.
You were deep in the trenches.
I was asleep. So then I asked my mom, I was like, Mom, they tried to wake me up. She was like, yeah, you wasn't moving. I'm like, oh God. So then after that, that's when I kind of like started tightening up on that. But it's just something that I do want to do. So it's called Mothers of Old. That'll be May 1st at the Lincoln Theater in Washington, D.C. And, it's just more to come. I got more music coming out. Getting ready to do the video for my single, Not Obligated. So definitely be on the lookout for. Yeah, man. That's why I was just out of town. I was getting my music to different DJs and, just moving, man, making it work.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, my sir. Nothing wrong with that, sir. We'll support definitely and get behind that. I know some people put some links of your music actually in the chat already. So there's some people obviously already supporting what you do, bro. Yeah, listen, it's been a good conversation, man. You've been a good sport. You've been open, you've been transparent, you've been letting us know your thoughts, your feelings. And I really do appreciate that, Captain. It was a good conversation. I laughed as well.
Yeah. Man. Good times.
It's good times indeed, sir. So, listen, audience members, listen, it's been an amazing chat with Wiley here. Listen, are you still single, or can I jump in the DMs?
Yes.
Just have to make sure you're with somebody.
Yeah, I'm single. So
you're single.
The DMs is at Wiley Brown _ IG whatever. So
okay,
I'm here and I got an open ear.
Okay. You're not gonna have one of your female fans start replying to people saying it's got a man already.
I mean, we'll see what time it is.
No, listen, I hear that still. Audience, be blessed. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, because you know what? There's not much I wouldn't do.